Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to one and all for today's session. First of all, let me wish everybody a very happy International Yoga Day. Yoga has been an ancient science in India that we have forgotten over the period of time, and it's a proven science that has actually taken mankind to places. Many people think that yoga is an exercise form, yoga is the way of life, yoga is a cure for many diseases. What is yoga, by the way? All right, we will look into a bit detail about what yoga is and how does it impact the organs inside the body in today's session. Before that, let us just invoke the divine within us. Nothing to do with religion here. I'm just invoking the divine. I'm just invoking my guru inside so that I can be presentable, I can be pleasant, and whatever I speak has to add value to you. This is what my intention about invoking is. So I do that by chanting Om about 3 times and then praying Guru Brahma, which is what we're going to do now. With both my hands together, I bow to the divine and to my Guru. Om. 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 Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My salutations to all the gurus in my life that have taught something or the other and have been responsible for what I am today. I, from the bottom of my heart, bow down to their divine feet and give my namaskarams to them. Now, what is yoga? Many people say different ways of expressing it. Many scriptures, many spiritual masters have expressed it in their own words. What I say is that yoga is something that you have to experience yourself. Okay, you do have to go by whatever people are saying, but then unless you experience it, you would not be able to realize what yoga is. It is a journey within. It is a journey inward to just meet the I within you. So each person will have to experience it, and thus yoga will be introduced to them. Now, many people get introduced to yoga through various ways. For me, it has been my guru. Thank you. And quickly, let us understand what yoga is for this body, for this physical body. Before that, what I would want to do is do a pranayama, very, very quick, energizing pranayama, which is very, very important because the entire prana within us is what is responsible for all the mind and its fluctuations. So let us just quickly do the Bhastrika Pranayama, which is very, very energizing. But before I do that, what I would request is, if there are people with heart diseases, I would request them to do it at a very, very slow pace, like take about 1 exhalation per 5-7 seconds or so, and not do it at the same rate that I am doing. For the rest of you, if you are women that are in your menses, you should avoid doing this pranayama. This is just to bring up the energy, slightly a little higher energy I need to be able to do the session. That's why we are starting with this pranayama. Look at how it energizes you. You don't need Red Bull to energize you. This particular pranayama can bring in all that energy hidden within you. All right. So here is how we're going to do it. Sit in any comfortable posture that you are in, and then with your eyes closed, you're going to bring loose fist in front of your shoulders with both the hands like this. Your elbows close to your rib cage. Observe the breath for a quick moment. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to breathe in, and as you breathe in, you're going to raise both your hands, opening the palm, and take them up. You're going to breathe out forcefully, bringing the hands back to its original starting posture. This breathe out is going to be a little forceful, okay? Observe. All right, this is what you're going to do. As if you're blowing your nose, you're going to breathe out forcefully. and relax. I did about 10. You could just do about 10 or 15 and then take a break, stop there. This is called Bhastrika Pranayama. Now observe the rise in energy as you did this pranayama. This is one pranayama that is recommended for everybody to start your day with, so that you can let the lethargy out of the body and start your session a power packed way, right? So why pranayama at the beginning of the session, especially this one? Prana, just a 5-letter word, means an entire world to us. Everything that we are doing is just because we have that subtle energy called prana within us. Now, how do we express or how do we feel that energy? Through the breath, through the inhalation, through the exhalation, and your lungs are responsible for this action of whatever your prana is doing. What happens when you breathe in and breathe out? All your cells in the body, there are trillions of them. These cells need a lot of energy to perform their daily activities that are assigned to them. Now, these tiny cells together forms a tissue. Few tissues together forms an organ, and few organs together is what is the physical body, right? So the prana is the only means by which we give oxygen to these cells. So we breathe in, the atmospheric air is entering into our body, from which your blood picks up only the oxygen molecules and supplies it to all the cells, trillions of them in the body. At the same time, the blood also brings in all the toxins and carbon dioxide which are formed in the body as part of metabolic activities. They bring it together into the lungs and then expel out. When we breathe out, these carbon dioxide and other unwanted molecules are released into the lungs so that they can be thrown out through the exhalation. So this is what is happening. Exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide or gases is what is breath all about. Is it all that? No, there is so much into it. Each breath has a value. Every time you breathe in, you are energizing your body, and every time you breathe out, you are detoxifying your body. Trust me, 90% of detoxification happens just by breathing in the right way. Now, what is this breath? We've been talking about this. We breathe in and out every minute, isn't it? Now, when did we start breathing? Right from the time when we came out of our mother's womb, we started breathing in. And when are we going to end it? Now, nobody knows the answer to this question, but yes, there is an end to it. We breathe our last and that's it. This life is over. Okay? So from the time we are born till the time we are leaving this body, we are continuously breathing. About 12 to 15 times every minute. Many people think that this physical body gets energy from the food that they eat. Now, think again. How many times do we eat food per day? 3 times? 4 times maybe? Or maximum 6 times? Whatever is the number. That's the only number of times that we eat, which is limited, isn't it? Now, how many times do we drink water per day? Or how much water do we drink per day? Depending on the body type, anything between 2.5 liters to 6 liters. Is that the average? Yes, it is. So let's look at this question. How many liters of air do we breathe in, or how many times do we breathe in a day? This is approximately, the numbers are going to be whooping. We breathe in approximately 10,000 liters of air per day. Yes, you heard me right, 10,000 liters. We do this activity every minute, 12 to 15 times average every minute, which takes about 5 to 6 seconds approximately per breath, and the numbers can come down. The longer you take to inhale and exhale, the longer you live. That's the equation. Now, to prove that, let me give the examples of certain animals that live very, very short. A dog, for example, one of our pets, right? The way it breathes, it is always at stress, only breathing in and out and nothing else, with the tongue sticking out. This is how exactly it breathes. How long does it live? What is the average lifespan? About 10 to 12 years, that's it. But Have you ever looked at an elephant or a tortoise for that matter? The way they breathe are very, very, very slow, maybe about 5 breaths in a minute or so, or 6 breaths maybe, right? So they take a good amount of time to breathe in very, very slowly and peacefully and breathe out completely. Now, um, if we come across anybody that is going at a tortoise speed right in front of your car on the road, you start honking at them way faster, isn't it? That's how much we like tortoise or people with tortoise attitude. But trust me, a tortoise can live up to over 200 years without any health issues just because it is breathing in easily and breathing out completely. All right. Now let us come to understanding how our breath is controlled or how our breath is connected to our life. Now, there is an important organ in the entire respiratory system called the diaphragm. Many people do not even know the function of this diaphragm and how it helps breathing at all in their lifetime. Now, let me bring this up to you, throw some light on the diaphragm. This diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that divides the entire thoracic region into the upper thoracic and the lower thoracic. That is your chest and your lungs region and the abdomen or the stomach and intestines region. Okay, so both the lungs are attached to this dome-shaped fibrous tissue called the diaphragm, and when you breathe in, this diaphragm pulls the lungs downward, making some vacuum in the lungs. When there is vacuum, the air around the nose gets sucked in. Yes, this is the actual process of breathing. Breathing in is an effort, is a act that your body does consciously. All right. While breathing out, you just have to let the breath go and very, very slowly, like a tiny hole in a car tire, very, very, very slowly it will start deflating. You could observe, breathe in deeply and slowly let it go. It will take its own sweet time to come out. Now, as I talk, all the breath is coming out, isn't it? You don't have to forcefully breathe out, right? This is the natural tendency of breathing. Now, why do pranayama as part of yoga? The entire concentration of doing your asanas or sun salutations or meditation or pranayama, all of that is concentrated around the way we breathe in and breathe out. Yes, the only way for us to reach the mind and remove the fluctuations or the vrittis of the mind is by controlling the breath. Many people, many scholars have spoken about the importance of breath, and they have brought out with examples of why it is that through the breath that we are able to reach our brain and are able to control the fluctuations, thoughts, stress levels of the brain is very beautifully explained. You will know the importance of breath when you run out of it, right? Consider running for a short distance and see how your breath varies, right? We give importance to breath only when we run out of it. Otherwise, because the body is able to do it by itself, we don't give it a thought. We don't give it much thought on how many times we are inhaling and exhaling every minute. Do we? We really don't. Do we? Yes. So, yoga is all about bringing that consciousness and awareness to the breath and through the breath controlling the mind. Yog, the word literally means sangam, to bring together your body, the breath, and the mind or thought to one place so that you can attain salvation. Yes, that is the ultimate goal of any yogic practice, isn't it? So, through the breath, it is that we do our asanas and try to take control of our body and the mind. It is through meditation and relaxation techniques that we try to control the breath and thoughts in the mind and try to come to a state where it goes thoughtless for a moment, and that is when you see various health benefits to the physical body. Now, how is it attached to the physical body? Your brain, although is a small mass of muscle, tissue, whatever it is, has a lot of control over the entire brain. The way it controls your endocrine system, we're going to talk about that very soon. The way it controls your immune system, the way it controls your nervous system, right? This is very, very beautifully connected to your breath and thus controls the entire body. Now, why is that important? Because if the brain is not controlling, then your organs work the way they want to, bringing in a lot of ill health to you. Just because the brain is able to control everything in the body is happening in a certain way. You get angry, you get happy, you feel sad, you feel stressed, all because of the vrittis in the mind, the way there are fluctuations in the mind. All of the illnesses, I would say 80 to 90% of illnesses that we are seeing in today's world is psychosomatic. If the brain or the mind can be controlled, 90% of your diseases are taken care. Isn't that a big number? 90%. Just the other 10% is something that we need to deal with, isn't it? How does yoga help in bringing all of these three things together is such a beautiful experience. Only can be experienced by an individual. When I said it's an inward journey, it helps you to introduce the inner you to yourself. How beautiful is it? Do you want to meet the inner you? This is the right way. Now, talking about breath and other things, many people have actually had this misconception that yoga is all about doing an asana that I am not very comfortable doing. It's a form of exercise that I'm not ready to do it. My body doesn't allow me to stay in the asana for a long time or so, and that's why I don't want to do yoga. Trust me, yoga is not just asanas. As per the sage Patanjali, who is considered to be the father of modern yoga, he has written about 196 different verses explaining what yoga is all about and how does it impact your body and mind. Very, very, very beautiful, written in his sutras called the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. As per this sage, yoga is 8-limbed. It has 8 different branches. Okay, the first branch is called the Yama. The second is Niyama. These two are like 10 commandments or rules. Each of these have 5 rules each, and these are like the 10 commandments for somebody to conduct themselves in the society and to have a discipline in their life. So when you follow the yamas and niyamas, you become eligible to practice asanas, which is the third limb of yoga. Then comes the pranayama, which is controlling your breath. The other 4 limbs follow one another when you attain these 4 stages. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and the ultimate stage is samadhi. So if these 8 limbs are to be considered as per what Patanjali said, then asana is just 12.5% of the entire 8 limbs, isn't it? So it is not all about the asana. It is about how you are able to attain peace when in an asana. Many a times I have seen in yoga classes that the yoga teacher is instructing an asana and the student goes into the asana, let's say Trikonasana. And then here the thought is like, when is the trainer going to ask me to release? Are they doing yoga? Definitely not. When you go into the asana and you attain tranquility, peace while in the asana. And how would you attain that? By just observing your breath, by just normalizing your breath, which is very, very, very important. This entire breath is the whole aspect of doing yoga. All right. When in an asana, if your mind goes thoughtless for a moment and you're able to observe the parts of your body where the stress is and the breath, and bring in a great deal of unity between your thought, between your breath and the body, then you're actually doing yoga. Right? Now, how does it impact the other parts of the body? Let us talk a little bit about how the heart functions and what are the benefits of doing yoga for the circulatory system. Your heart is A very small unit, a very tiny device, but has a very big role to play in the entire body. Do you know that the circulation of blood all through the body is taken care by the heart by just pumping? It beats several times, 72 times to be precise, per minute, to be able to pump the blood from one place to another place. Now, why is this pumping required? Because your blood is the carrier of all the nutrients plus the oxygen that we get in through the respiratory system. So the blood carries it. It takes hold of all of these nutrients and the oxygen, of course nutrients from the digestive system, oxygen from the respiratory system, and goes around looking for cells that are thriving for the nourishment and oxygen and supplies it there. Now it also does another important function. The metabolic activities that are happening inside our body, every day there are millions of such chemical reactions happening in the body. Your blood is responsible to collect all the waste produced out of these activities and then bring them to the excretory system or to the respiratory system to be expelled out in whichever form they are collected. If it is solids, then it goes in the form of stool. If it is liquids, in the form of urine or sweat. And if it is gas, then it is in the form of exhalation, that we are removing all the toxins. Now this is where I say that 90% of your toxins are removed is because of all of this. Your circulatory system is one of the major, all of them are very important system, but circulatory system plays a very, very, very vital role. Now, why are we seeing so many cases, increasing cases of cardiovascular diseases in today's world? The first and the foremost reason I would say is stress, right? Everything and anything is stressful for us. The maid didn't come home on time, right? It's already 6, 7, we're getting late to the office. The maid has not reached home, becomes stressful. You did not get ready for a presentation that you're supposed to do today and you take stress, right? Many a times, if you observe, the situations that are stressful are not in your control and not in your hands. You cannot do anything about it, except one thing that is in your control is your breath and your thought. The way you perceive stress changes when you practice yoga, especially the way it works with your nervous system enhances, and because of which stressful situations don't seem to be as stressful as they were before the practice. So people who have practiced yoga, doing few asanas, pranayama and meditation, have seen to have a reduced risk of heart failures or any nervous disorders, because these two systems are nourished, they are tickled to be able to perform to their optimum when they practice yoga. Now, the way it works with the nervous system is so beautiful. There are many sections and parts of the nervous system. I'm not going to cover all of them in today's session, but what I want to help you understand is the way it works with your fight and flight responses and the rest and digest responses. Okay, so the somatic and autonomic nervous system, where the autonomic nervous system majorly is responsible for your fight and flight response whenever you see a threat. For example, a tiger, right? The moment you see a tiger, your body is supposed to undergo a certain stress which is healthy. If that stress were not there, you would become prey to the tiger. So that particular stress, when you look at the tiger right in front of you, boosts your energy, releases glucose from the liver and gives it as a supplement to all the body parts where blood carries it and gives it away. Your breath increases, right? The way you breathe in, breathe out, your heart rate goes up because your heart is pumping more and more blood that has oxygen so that it can be supplied, and thus nourishment can be given, because you have to escape. You need all that energy to escape from the tiger. Fight and flight, why does it say? Is the threat minimum that you can stand there and fight the threat, or is it stronger than you that you have to fly away from the place? It's a decision that you are making, and thus your body undergoes all of these physical changes to enable you, to help you to survive the tiger in front of you. Now, this is very, very, very important. stress response for you to have. Now, your hormonal system releases certain hormones into the bloodstream, which causes all of these reactions in the body. Now, why do we call stress as very bad when it is important for you to survive, to save yourself from a situation like this? The reason why it is stressful, the reason why it is bad is not because you are getting it when the tiger is in front, but you are getting it every time when the tiger is not there. Like small, tiny events become so stressful. Trust me, when you are in stress, whatever you eat does not get digested. Because for that 90 minutes when your stress hormone is released, it's called cortisol. When it is released and is there in the body, in the bloodstream, your digestive system is deactivated. The circulatory system sends in very, very, very minimal blood to keep the digestive system active, because blood is busy nourishing the other parts of the body which needs more and more nourishment, because you have to escape. Now, with every stressful situation that you are encountering per day, all those tiny teeny things like the bus came late, you had a flat tire, you're getting late to your office, every such tiny situation, when it becomes stressful, multiply the number of times per day into 90 minutes. That many minutes, your digestive system is deactivated, which means whatever you eat at this time is not being digested. Yeah, it is staying in your stomach and is rotting up, becoming ama. Ama is nothing but toxin. When these toxins increase, they make sure that they are accumulating around the visceral organs, which is all your soft organs inside the body that are doing major work, like your heart. Let's say if your heart has a lot of fat around it, the fat, it's like you want to run, but somebody is hugging you so tight, giving all their love to you, they've hugged you, but you can't run now. Right? So your heart is willing to function, but the fat around it is so much that it is slowly deteriorating the function of the heart. Not good for you to have so much of fat around your visceral organs. Is it? It's not. At the same time, liver is another example. Whenever there is fat accumulated in the liver, you will have sweet tooth. Many a times I've heard people come up and say immediately after a meal, they have a sweet tooth, they want to eat something sweet. Why? It is because the toxins inside are inviting more toxins. They are attracting more negative energy and toxins inside your body. So you end up eating sweets immediately after a meal. Not just one, it will not satisfy your quench for the sweet. You might end up eating 2, 3, and at last another friend comes in and says, hey, why don't you have one more? And you're like, please. Right? So these are some of the ways where we end up putting in more toxins in the body, which causes more harm. Your circulatory system is at stake, right? Your immune system is at stake. Now, why is it important for the immune system to be active in this pandemic time, especially because Corona? So many people are talking about immunity. What is this immunity? It is the good cells in your body that are keeping you alive. Every day, every single day when you get up and you feel good, you should literally thank the immune system for keeping the toxins, for keeping the antibodies away from you so you can feel better, right? They are doing a very good job day and night, making sure that the unwanted bacteria, now how do they enter into our body? Do you know how all they can enter? They can enter through food, they can enter through water, they can enter through the breath when we breathe in and breathe out in unsafe conditions, or pollen in the air, bacteria entering in, pollen entering in, causing various respiratory issues. Other ways are like tiny cuts and wounds on your skin. These can also attract so many microorganisms come in. We are actually surrounded by so many of them that if they enter in and make it at the right point, at the right time, they start using up the energy in the body and they start building numbers. When that happens, I'm okay with them entering the body. I'm perfectly all right, because unknowingly so many things are living in my body, so be these. But the problem arises when these guys multiply in number and they try to change the internal environment that I already have. Yes, when they disturb my homeostasis, when they bring in a lot of illness to me, I'm not okay with it. Now, how do I enhance, how do I improve my immunity? It is through yogic practices, it is through pranayama, your asanas, and your meditative techniques. You enhance your immune system. Also, to add to it, there is food factor that I would want to introduce here. The way you eat also matters a lot. Your immunity builds with good food that you eat, and that's the reason why many of us prefer home cooked food, because we don't know what goes into the food that we order. But don't you think that the enhancement in the technology is making us lethargic? I have Swiggy, I can order into, and within 30 minutes I have whatever I want to eat delivered at the doorstep. I don't even have to step out of my house. All of these advancements and technologies are making me so lazy as such. But this was not the case about 50, 60 years ago, right? Somebody has to walk about 5, 6 kilometers to get to work, and there were no cycles. Even when they were there, people couldn't afford it and they preferred walking. Slowly, public transport came into play, and then automotive industry have grown so big that each household has 2, 3 cars. The moment they step out of the door, they jump into the car, step out in the office, and then get back in. So with so much of technology around us, we have made minimum use of our body and made it so lethargic that it became prone to several diseases. And these diseases were not even known to mankind some 50, 100 years. You could see that in your own household. Are there people from Gen 3, Gen 4 still living hale and healthy, breathing in easy, with a beautiful smile, charm, and aroma around them? You are the lucky ones. Ask these people the way they ate, right? The tongue is sore, so let me order pizza. They didn't do that. They knew that when the body is not well, they shouldn't feed it something heavy that they will bite into, and that becomes problematic for the digestive system to digest and give the required nourishment when you are unwell. How many of us ate rasam, pepper rasam? How long has it been since you ate? Lemon rasam, another beautiful dish. My mouth is already starting to water, right? These are traditional age-old dishes. We have all switched up into eating paneer butter masala, palak paneer, navratan kurma, pizzas, burgers, and French fries, and fried food, and processed food. Okay, so authentic preparation, very, very minimal in very few households, right? So your food is one of the major factors for us to make sure that we eat the right stuff and thus enhance our immunity. To add to it, your endocrine system, the way your thoughts are in the mind, the way the stress is, your brain releases about 8 different hormones that in turn allows other organs in the body release their part of the endocrine juices or chemicals into the body, right? So when these releases are not in place, then the entire body is going beyond control, right? That is when the homeostasis of the body is lost, and we are going out of track into getting into a disease, right? So these practices of yoga, in yoga, what all do we do in yoga? It's not just exercise. Think about it. It's doing an exercise with a particular rhythm. It's a discipline. It gives you a particular discipline that every day at a certain time you get up, you do your daily chores, you hit the mat, you do your certain pranayamas, you do some asanas, and then you sit and meditate, you relax the mind. Any stress, depression, even thoughts that are provoking somebody to commit suicide can be reduced with practice of yoga. That's how much powerful yoga is. Yoga, it's something, like I said, is something that you have to experience it, and you will get that wow factor only when you experience it. And yes, of course, with a good teacher in hand, you can actually go places when practicing yoga. The way you practice your pranayama, the way you avoid certain pranayamas at certain parts of the day or certain conditions of the body. Very, very, very important for us to understand all of these. And thus, now, above all, posture, the way you sit, stand, walk, run, jump, sleep, etc., are corrected with your asanas. Spine, especially, very, very, very important organ or very, very, very important structure of the skeletal system. Many people nowadays with the desk job are used to sitting with a slouch with your shoulders shrugged in, right, and the entire spine bent forward the wrong way, which causes a lot of issues. With yogic practices, it becomes easier for them to sit upright. When you open the chest, when you draw your shoulders away from each other and sit with your spine upright, the chest where your lungs are housed, it gets more room for expansion. Your muscles and the skeletal system also helps the respiratory system to enhance. When your breath is enhanced, when you breathe in optimum, when you make best use of lungs, you are exercising your prana. You are letting the prana divulge, go into various places where it is lacking and then enhance the way these organs are functioning. Now, as per yogic sciences, there are several points in the body that are referred to as chakras. Now, before talking about chakras, I also want to bring in another concept here called nadis, understanding 72,000 different nadis in the body and the way they take in this subtle energy called prana we've been talking about, the way they take them around all the organs and the way they move it around makes sure that your body works to the optimum. Now, with 72,000 nadis, how is it that I'm going to control these channels of energy and how am I going to bring in? There is no need to worry. The king of all pranayamas is called the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, okay, which works with the Ida and the Pingala Nadi on the left and the right nostrils. Okay, these two are very nicely and deeply connected to Sushumna Nadi. So this concept of chakras is very well explained, and the way the energy is redirected from one source or one place to the other place where it is lacking. This is all possible with your practice of pranayama, asanas and meditation, which is what we are doing. We are just rechannelizing the dormant energy that is sitting idle somewhere. We are bringing it up, elevating it to be able to go to meet the rest of the organs and bring in a lot of prana to those organs. This is exactly what we are doing physically when we are practicing yoga. Plus all the mental benefits that we spoke about, very, very, very beautifully aligned. All of your 11 systems get charged up when you practice yoga in a certain way, right? So here is a quick brief introduction about how your organ systems get benefited when you practice yoga. Your digestive system, may it be respiratory system, your nervous system, immune system, endocrine system, all of these systems are saying thank you when you're practicing yoga, isn't it? Now, having spoken so much about the anatomy and physiology, many a times the students came up to me and asked, sir, anatomy is all about the way our systems work. Physiology and anatomy is all about how our systems work. And I know there are various difficult terms in these concepts that I have to study. As a yoga teacher, why is it important for me? Because I am not from a biology background. I am not interested in that line, and that's the reason why I have not chosen that path when I was young. Why are you giving me this torture? Was one question that many people had, if not physically or if not vocally, they have had that question in the face, and I could feel that. Now, understanding your body is very, very important, right? The way when you understand certain things, it is easier for you to teach. As yoga teacher, it is very, very important, all the more important for you to understand, because people come to us with various mindsets or various physical ailments. You should all be aware of how to treat. If not completely treat, at least you should know what not to teach to these people. Somebody with knee pain cannot do a certain asana unless you know they have knee pain. How will you teach yoga for them? So all the more important for us to understand our anatomy and physiology, which brings in a lot of light on how we can ease any disease that is coming through by doing certain right things, by avoiding doing certain wrong things, by eating the right stuff and putting out all the toxins out of the body. Right? All of this put together is what is yoga all about. It is detoxifying, removing the fluctuations of the mind so that you can sit peacefully and meditate. That's what is the entire purpose of doing yoga. Right? So for the rest of the time, what I would recommend is that we sit and do a meditation, all right, which is very, very, very beautifully designed. This has been taught by various gurus as part of the practices. This is called Pancha Kosha meditation. Another beautiful concept of the yoga philosophy. Each body is made of 5 sheets or layers, it is called, which is the Annamaya Kosha, the one that is nourished by the food that we eat. Anna is nothing but the food. So any physical entity that grows or nourishes with the food that we eat is part of the Annamaya Kosha, basically your physical body. And then the Pranamaya Kosha, which is a subtle energy that uh, controls the mind, that goes around in the body in the form of breath. The Manomaya Kosha, our mind. Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect. Now, with the 5 senses, we learn a lot of things. We learn by touching something, we learn by listening to something, we learn by seeing something, we learn by tasting something. So, all these 5 senses enable us to learn, and all that knowledge is stored in the brain. So, your Vijnanamaya Kosha is tickling the intellect that you have gathered through the knowledge that you have. Beyond all these layers is the inner I, the aham, the ego. That is where is your bliss lying. That is where you find tranquility, you find peace. So the meditation that we are going to do now is going to take you deep inwards towards the inner you, crossing all of these layers, and then we are going to come out of the meditation observing each of the layers as we come out. All right. So what I would request you is to sit comfortably in any posture that allows you to sit for a long time. If it means that you have to sit on a chair, you can definitely make sure you're not crossing your legs, both your feet flat on the ground, with both your palms turned up to the ceiling. Just place them on the thigh with your eyes nicely closed. Have a nice smile. When you smile, there is vagus nerve that is connected to major organs in the body through the brain. It is directly connected to these organs. When you smile, when there are certain other activities like chanting, for example, when you do these things, your vagus nerve gets activated, tickling or stimulating all the important organs, bringing in a lot of peace and tranquility in you. Okay, so with a nice, beautiful smile, with your palms turned up, pointing to the ceiling and placing them on the knees or thighs, you're going to sit comfortably. Observe your breath with a nice and deep inhalation and exhalation. Watch your breath. Every inhalation is energizing your body, and every exhalation is relaxing your body. Just observe the inflow and the outflow of breath. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Breathe in and relax. Attention on just the breath. Nice and deep inhalation and exhalation. Watch your thoughts Your brain is not going to keep quiet. So many thoughts come in as you do this process. It's okay, just watch. Nice and deep inhalation and exhale completely. Very good. Now just listen to the surroundings. There are so many sounds around the surroundings. Just give it an ear. Some of these sounds are very pleasant, but some are very irritating. It's okay, just accept them the way they are. There's nothing in your control. The only thing in your control is your mind. You're going to control your mind by controlling the breath. Just watch your breath. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Now feel the atmosphere around you. Whether it is hot or cold, it's okay, just accept it the way it is. Breathe in and slowly breathe out. Now you are in harmony with your surroundings. At this time, let us observe the physical body. Feel your toes, both your feet, ankles, knees, thighs, hip joints, abdomen, chest center, both the shoulders, upper hands, elbows, wrist joints, both your palms, fingers, tips of all the fingers, throat and the neck region, chin, both your lips, nose, cheeks, eyes, eyebrows, center of the eyebrow, forehead, top of the head, entire facial muscles, and now the whole body. Right from the top of your head till the tips of your toes, just watch, observe the whole body. Breathe in and relax. Feel grateful. Just say thank you to the Divine for having gifted you such a wonderful gift, which is your own body. Breathe in and relax. Very good. Now become aware of your breath, the subtle form of breath that you are inhaling and exhaling. Breathe in and relax. Every incoming breath is energizing your body, and every outgoing breath is relaxing your body. Just observe. Now become aware of the thoughts. They may be good thoughts or maybe bad thoughts. It's okay. Just watch. Just be an observer. Do not assess these thoughts. Just let them come. Just watch them. Breathe in and relax. When the stream of thoughts is not continuous, slowly become aware of the feelings. Maybe pleasant or unpleasant feelings. It doesn't matter. Just watch. Breathe in and relax. Observe the feelings and the emotions that come along with these feelings. Pleasant, unpleasant, doesn't matter at this point. Just watch. Breathe in and relax. You are very peaceful and joyous at this point. Pay attention to the internal peace that you are in. This peace is your true nature. Breathe in and relax. You are peace and joy. Observe the calm state of mind you are in. This is your true nature. Being peaceful and joyful is your true nature. Observe. This pleasant feeling that you are in is the ultimate joy, the bliss that you want to experience every day in your life. Now, don't hand off this peace of yours into somebody or something and give away your peace. Have good control on your mind, on your peace, and on your joy. Slowly become aware of your thoughts. Slowly become aware of your thoughts. When you are aware of your thoughts, become aware of the breath. Become aware of your breath, the slow and subtle form of breath that you are inhaling and exhaling. When you become aware of your breath, slowly become aware of the body and the surroundings, the place you are sitting, the room you are in. Just observe with your eyes closed. Observe the whole body. Witness the physical body. Observe the state of the body. Very calm and peaceful. A peaceful mind becomes eligible to bless all the loved ones, friends, family, neighbors, everyone in and around your society. Bring both your hands together in prayer pose at the heart center, chest center. Just listen to me chanting. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Paschyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhave Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Rub the palms, generate some heat, cover the face with both your hands, keep your eyes closed, feel the warmth. Take your hands around your neck region, feel the warmth. Now bring both your hands together, palms open, facing towards you, with a nice beautiful smile. Very, very beautiful and charming smile. Very slowly and gradually open your eyes to look into your own palms. and relax. Very good. Have a lovely day. All that I want at the end of the day is to lead a disease free, happy life, which is what yoga is very much essential. So, start your practice. This is the right time. There is no other time in future. You cannot postpone good things. So, this is the moment that you should take the sankalpa and start practicing yoga for your own benefit. Om Namah Shivaya.